Good evening and thank you for joining us for KREM 2 News 10 at 10, where we give you more news in less time. Let's get started. Hundreds of students at WSU are in limbo tonight after finding out the apartments they were planning to move into next weekend won't be ready until October. Now they're scrambling to find places to stay before classes start. KREM 2's Kyle Simchuk spoke to one tenant who says he's even being asked to pay rent for a place that he can't move into.
It's easy to understand why Damian Sarazola was excited to sign a lease at the Aspen Heights apartments. They're brand new, affordable, and in a quiet area close to campus.
My mom commented, she was like, it looks like a place that I'll actually feel comfortable visiting you in. And so I was really excited to move in. It looked nice and new.
He signed a lease last December and was planning to move in next Saturday, weeks before the start of his senior year. He got an email Thursday saying his unit wouldn't be ready.
The apartment was delayed due to construction.
The project was more than just a few weeks behind schedule.
It would be ready sometime in October.
Aspen Heights told tenants words cannot express how disappointed this delay makes us. However, we're working around the clock to keep things moving to have you the least impacted as possible.
Highly suspect. I'm like, okay, if it's going to be 2 months out, then it's probably some problems they've known for a while, and just apparently the property didn't communicate with the leasing office either, because they had just found out that Thursday.
According to the email Damian received, Aspen Heights is offering tenants a $1,000 account credit to find other living arrangements until the units are ready, or a $300 credit to stay at another complex closer to campus. Damian says he's already getting billed for rent, even parking at a place that won't be ready for months.
I barely make enough to cover rent in the first place, and then the fact that I'm going to have to pay close to $800 for a place I'm not living in.
Right now, he's living with a friend and trying to get out of his lease at Aspen Heights.
2 weeks out from school start, there's not much left.
KREM 2 News reached out to Aspen Heights for comment multiple times, but did not hear back.
Now, Washington State University has nothing to do with this project. It's being developed by a private company, but we still reached out to see if anything is being done for students like Damian. In a statement, a spokesperson from the university said in part, quote, WSU is aware of the Aspen Heights situation and is actively engaging with the local Aspen management to find solutions to ensure our students are cared for. Students who have interest in living in on-campus housing should email housing@wsu.edu. Reporting in Pullman, Kyle Simchuk, KREM 2 News.
New tonight, police are investigating a deadly crash involving a motorcycle and a car on North Maple and West Northwest Boulevard in Spokane. According to Spokane police, one person died, another suffered potentially life-threatening injuries. Both were on the motorcycle. The person in the car was not hurt. Earlier, the streets had been closed but have since reopened. Also new tonight, travelers planning on driving on I-90 and Highway 195 should be aware of some bridge deck construction projects starting this week. Today, WashDOT crews are rehabilitating bridge decks by patching potholes and removing and replacing concrete in certain sections. The work aims to extend the life of the bridges and create a smoother ride. Some locations include 4th Street over I-90 and US 195 over I-90. For a full list of bridges impacted by this project, just head to our website. That's KREM.com. Developing tonight, sources tell CBS News the FBI executed a search warrant at former President Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate as part of an investigation into his handling of White House documents. Mr. Trump was not at his Florida residence at the time. Officials say it was a run-of-the-mill search. Mr. Trump acknowledged the search in a lengthy statement today, calling it unannounced and unnecessary and inappropriate. Federal law bars the removal of classified documents to unauthorized locations, though it is possible that Mr. Trump could try to argue that case. Now to our night beat with a quick look at today's top stories. The Spokane Valley Fire Department has announced that firefighter Dan Patterson has died after suffering a cardiac arrest in late July. The fire department announced the procession route and the date of the funeral is scheduled to take place. Out of respect for the family's wishes, they ask only the family, Spokane Valley Fire Department personnel, and other emergency responders attend the funeral. Patterson had been on life support at Sacred Heart since July 21st and was taken off last Monday.
Finance.
Well, that is the message from the organizers of the cooling tent set up at the homeless camp off I-90 in Freya. The Spokane Fire Marshal is still asking that it be removed because it doesn't have a permit. Jules Helping Hands, the nonprofit organizer who put up that tent, says it'll be keeping it up at least through tomorrow. The city could fine the Washington State Department of Transportation $536 for every day the tent is up. But as of this afternoon, WashDOT told us it has not received any citations.
There's going to be limit on the time you can stay there, so the intent is get people there, get them in a hygienic circumstances, link them up with the services, and give them a chance to rejoin the community and take advantage of those services so they can be productive citizens again.
Well, the city of Spokane is working to relocate people from the homeless camp off I-90 in Freya to a shelter. Another city is creating a designated homeless camping site. The city of Colville is preparing a 1-acre lot where people can legally camp. That way the city can legally enforce its ordinances against camping on public property and long-term parking. Coming up in just about 10 minutes, why the mayor there believes the lot will help curb homelessness in other areas of Colville. And that was your Night Beat. To learn more about any of these stories, just text us the word night to 509-448-2000 and we'll send them directly to your phone. Well, tonight, firefighters are on the scene of a 15-acre wildfire burning near the Lion Creek drainage at Priest Lake. According to the Idaho Department of Lands, they do have 4 fire engines on scene with a 20-person crew and several helicopters. Currently, there are no evacuations in place. For updates, you can check our website, KREM.com. Taking a look now at an update to the Williams Lake wildfire burning just south of Cheney. All evacuation levels have been removed as of this morning, but the Spokane County Fire District 3 is asking people to still watch out for crews who are still working in that area. The fire has burned nearly 2,000 acres. It is 65% contained tonight. Plus, in about 15 minutes, we'll break down more wildfires burning across our region and what can be done to make sure your home doesn't burn in the event of a wildfire. Meanwhile, as crews continue to fight that fire, heat advisories and excessive heat warnings are once again in effect for the inland Northwest. Let's get right outside to Chief Meteorologist Jeremy Legoo. And Jeremy, what can we expect for the rest of the week?
More hot weather. It just kind of stays warm all week long, despite some of these heat advisories and excessive heat warnings expiring at 11 p.m. tomorrow. We're going to have another hot day across much of the inland Northwest, and it's actually rather warm still right now. Beautiful evening outside, and 82 in Spokane, 72 in Coeur d'Alene, and look at Sandpoint and Deer Park, temps in the mid-60s. You're still in the 80s out in central Washington. It's all based on what you can heat up during the day that holds on to some of that heat. You find yourself close to a body of water, you cool down nicely. Quite a few locations drop into the 50s or low 60s overnight. Gives you a nice break from the heat. Air quality looks to remain good. And by tomorrow, we're talking temps on the rise, back near 100 across much of the region. Coming up, we'll talk a shift in the weather pattern that brings about something interesting that leads to cooler temps.
Sounds good, Jeremy. We'll check back in with you later in the broadcast. In other news, the Democrat-controlled Senate has delivered President Biden a major legislative win on a multi-billion-dollar spending bill focused on health care and climate change. Vice President Kamala Harris delivered the tie-breaking vote. It follows months of negotiations and a marathon weekend session. The Inflation Reduction Act invests nearly $370 billion in climate and energy investment. It also allows Medicare to negotiate high-cost prescription drugs. The bill is estimated to lower the deficit by $300 billion. The legislation now heads to the U.S. House with a vote expected as early as Friday. Now to an update. Former Washington State head football coach Nick Rolovich followed up on his plan to sue the state. You may recall WSU fired Rolovich last year after he refused to get vaccinated against COVID-19. And now we are learning that Rolovich filed a tort suit against the state. At the time of his termination, he said he planned to sue the school and all parties responsible. Rolovich had requested a religious exemption but was denied by WSU. Now we've confirmed with the state that Rolovich filed that tort claim on April 27th. A tort claim is the first step in someone suing the state. There is a 60-day period before a lawsuit can be filed to allow the state to review and respond to the claim. But once that window has passed, a suit can be filed. That 60-day period for Rolovich expired on June 26, so Rolovich is now free to file a lawsuit against the state. Whether he does so remains to be seen. This is clearly something that we are tracking closely, and we'll make sure that we'll let you know what we find out as we continue to dig. And that was your KREM 2 News 10 out of 10, where you get more news in less time. But don't go to bed just yet. After the break, we are sharing more on the new proposed lot where Colville is looking to create a homeless camp. We're back in just 90 seconds.